today's topic is going to be one of my favorite. It's the L word, and if you don't know, the L word is logic. I spoke on this some videos back, letting everybody know that that's what the next video is going to be in reference to. Just as I speak to more people, as I watch social media, the more and more I interact, I just realize more and more that common sense is not really that common. Again, and I'm gonna repeat it. I've said it once and I'm gonna say it again. I say it all the time on social media. A lot of us out here, we don't fact check absolutely anything we do in life. We have a set of rules for ourselves, a set of principles, a viewpoint, and perspective that we have not, we haven't fact checked that at all. We didn't ask any questions. We didn't seek any answers. Somebody just handed us some regurgitated information that they didn't fact check themselves, and we tend to run with it. And today, not gonna necessarily go into a spill. I'm just gonna actually point out 7 points, several personal points of mine, some of my favorites, where I feel like people lack logic. And again, nobody asks why. Nobody does research. We just simply repeat. We just simply follow these guidelines. Really, just in my personal opinion, everybody's in need of direction. Nobody really wants to find their own way. Nobody really wants to be an individual. Nobody really wants to be, a thinker, innovator, creator. Just not be the first, because it's so much going on out here. Excuse me, it's so much going on out here. It's really hard to be the first at, what most of us really want to do. We've received inspiration somewhere along the road, but just nobody wants to think for themselves. Everybody's just caught up in the trends, caught up in the flow of, just normality and mundane. But again, like I said, I'm not gonna get off topic. I'm gonna drop these seven points of mine on you, where I feel like logic is not used a lot of times, and many of us, including myself, some years ago, were head on with these things. Number one that I want to speak of, it's these real simple things in the workplace called raises. And it's this other simple thing, in adult life, that's called taxes. And I'm just going to give you my ideology on raises and why I feel like a lot of people don't use logic in this scenario. A lot of workplaces have holiday bonuses. A lot of workplaces have, simple or even major, but they have incentives that you can receive for excelling during the holiday. My question to you would be, has anyone ever taken the time out to step back and really think about, logically, just take a look and be analytical at the time that these people decide to give you, holiday bonuses, holiday raises, gain shares, and all these other things that are provided in the workplace. If you're a good employee, or if you got a lot of sales, or if you excel at certain things within the system. My question is it not logical to give you more money during the holidays, because we have this thing called an economy, and it needs to be stimulated as much as possible, which is how America stays afloat. Is it not logical that us as individuals, when we get these incentives, or we get these raises, or we get these bonuses, or these gain shares, that we've already been programmed as humans to have to-do lists every time we get income? And it's going to lead me to my next point. It is not against the law to save. I know a lot of people out here who seriously have a problem with having money saved. They're truly afraid to have a substantial amount of money put away for a rainy day, or for a bigger event, or, just to better their lives, period. They rather sit back and look at the tangible items that they wasted their money on. That makes them feel a lot more fulfilled inside. And I just say that to say this. And again, with taxes, with raises, all these monetary rules and things that are in place to help us spend, or to subconsciously make us feel like we're getting ahead in life, when really every time we increase our income, we increase our expenses. How are we really getting ahead in life? You buying a new car, or I'm not even gonna go as far as a car, but you buying tangible items such as clothing, jewelry, every time you get paid or every time you get a raise, that is not advancing you nowhere in life. There is not one mortgage company, one dealership that you can, give them a call and say, hey, I'm an awesome dresser. Can you approve me for the loan? Can you do this and that? And again, y'all, just going back to logic. If you increase your expenses every time you increase your income, Think logically. You're not really getting ahead. A lot of you are stagnant. Because you look better doesn't necessarily mean you're advancing to better places in life. The intangibles and the tangibles, there's a fine line between those. And if you don't know what I mean, take the time to look the word up, please. But that's number one. The number one point I wanted to make is us as a people, we've been programmed and conditioned to believe that, you know, every time we get an extra dollar, we got to find something to do with it. It's okay to hide your money. It's okay to make the money work for you and you stop having to work for it. It's okay to invest in, you know, substantial things that are going to build a foundation for your kid. I'm going to get to point 2 because I can talk to you guys about that one all day. Point number 2 is television. Again, back to logic. It's not coincidental that your TV guide says programming. Television does just that. It's programming for the brain. And again, like I said, a lot of us have absolutely no reason why we do the things we do. We just get this regurgitated information, whether it be mom, it doesn't mean she's right. Whether it be the preacher, it doesn't mean he's right. Best friend, teacher, whoever. We get this regurgitated information and we just run with it. One of the best ways to consume a ton of regurgitated information is to lock in on television. A lot of y'all have absolutely no awareness or no knowledge about what's going on around you. All the information you gain is from television. That's programmed by more important people who have a lot more money and their ideology of how life works. And we simply just run off those things. And I mean, if you're on social media, the trends is a perfect example, to the dancing, to the way we talk, to the way we walk, to the clothes we wear. A lot of these things have been influenced directly by television and social media. Again, a lot of us have no identity. A lot of us we're searching for a direction. When it's okay to find your own way. It's okay to be you. It's okay to use logic. It's okay to use right and wrong when you're going through something and say, you know what? Logically, this makes absolutely no sense. Or logically, I have no idea why I spend hundreds of dollars on a certain tangible item. The only reason I know about this item is because I saw somebody on social media or television. They hyped it up. They said it was awesome. And now I'm caught up in the rapture, spending my money weekly on the same thing. And I have absolutely no personal sentiments. It has no sentimental value to me. It holds no importance in my life. I'm just caught up in buying this because I'm a follower and I saw a ton of other people buy it. Logic. We'll go to point number 3. Some years ago, any man I ran into or any man I mentioned, whatever the case may have been, I had a bad habit of referring to not only my people, but any man as a nigga. And I noticed that every time I use that terminology, nobody ever corrected me. It was smiles, or they either reciprocated the energy and called me a nigga too. They dapped me up, they fired me up, they gave me a hug, whatever the case may be. We hold casual conversation as niggas. But I realized even more lately, and this is as the consciousness grows, you start referring to your fellow man as a king, or you take away the bitches and hoes that you used to use in your verbiage and you start referring to the women as queens. But logically, I had to step back and start to realize I call a lot of women queens these days, or I refer to a lot of men as kings or a god or a goddess, and I get puzzled looks. I have people ask me, am I crazy, or what are you on now, or what you going through that got you talking to people like that, or just a number of confused questions. But I just couldn't understand for the life of me is if I called you a nigga, a bitch, or a hoe, you greeted me with a smile. You hugged me. You answered with no hesitation. But when I refer to you as a higher being, or I try to, in an attempt to refer you in a higher standard, I get puzzled looks. Again, it's when we have to step back and be analytical, and we have to be logical about the situation. I just realized at that point that logically, a lot of people don't want to be corrected. A lot of people don't want to be treated as supreme beings. A lot of people don't want to mentally elevate. A lot of people don't want to, change their physical situations or become a better them or be treated better. We have not only been conditioned to accept this behavior, but we actually champion it with tattoos like bad bitch, with titles like real nigga. And again, y'all, it goes back to logic. Look into the meaning of these words. Look into what you're calling yourself. Look into what you're championing. Look, just Simply just ask and research. It is okay to read. Books are not illegal. Knowledge is not illegal. Using logic, saving money, these things are not illegal. We have to utilize these things. Again, another topic I can go all day on. The next one, and I posted this picture on Instagram a few months ago. And it's gonna be a quick one, and it's really a question for you. Not a question you really have to answer right now, but just something I want you to dwell on after you watch the video. I haven't been to church in a long time. If you've been or if you've seen videos, I'm sure you're familiar with the Holy Spirit. There are people dressed in church attire, of course, with their Bibles, and you know, they supposedly catch the Holy Spirit. They may fall out, they may jump, they may dance, they may run, they may sing, they may do a number of things. The question I'm gonna ask you is, if you're walking down the most impoverished neighborhood in your area, you see a man with ripped, tattered clothing, he's walking down the sidewalk, he has his hands in his air, he's speaking in tongues, he's talking to himself, he seems to have an imaginary friend sitting right there on his shoulder. I'm gonna ask you, what would be the first thing that comes to mind? And I know me personally, when I used to see homeless people, with ripped clothing that look filthy, talking to themselves and mumbling and speaking in gibberish, the first thing that comes to my mind is, man, what the hell is he on? Is he crazy? This and that and the third. My question to you would be, what is the difference between him and the man in the church that's speaking to the invisible Holy Spirit that has him dancing and running around? Again, like I said, that's that point. I'm not going to stay on long. It's more so a question. And this is a question I presented to a lot of religious people who I have yet to get an answer to. So maybe the people who are checking out the video can provide me with an answer. But what is the difference between the tattered man with clothing on the sidewalk jumping for joy and talking to an invisible friend than the man that has on dress clothes with his Bible talking to an invisible friend? Some would say he's crazy. Some would say he's catching the Holy Spirit. Some would say they're both crazy. Some would say they're both delusional. It's up to you. But again, like I said, that point was more so a question for you, the people who are watching. My next point, again, it's all about logic. This is my favorite one. I used this one at the Great American Teaching, had a lot of people stumped. If I myself, Derrick Grace, walked up to you right now on this 55 degree Sunday, and I said, hey, my name is Derrick. I understand you have a full family to take care of. I understand you're a grown working man, a grown working woman. If I told you right now, hey, my name is Derrick, I'm aware that you're gonna need toilet tissue. You're gonna need toiletry items. I'm aware you need toothpaste. I'm aware you need socks to put on your feet because it's very cold outside. But I want to let you know, if you need those things like you say you do, then you need to come see me first, and I'll decide as another grown man if you as a grown man or woman deserve those things. And if I do, I'll give you the funds to go provide your family with toiletry items and socks during the winter. So you come see me first. And if I feel like you're up to it or you're good enough for it, I'll provide you with those items. But you make sure you come see me, because you gotta go through me. You gotta go through me to get the necessities and toiletry for your family. Give you a second to think about that. If a pure stranger walked up to you and said that, what would your response be? I know most people I ran into, even during the Great American Teaching, they really couldn't give me a response, because most of them told me they would definitely use a ton of expletives to any stranger that felt that they could simply tell them, if you need toiletry items and socks on your feet during the winter, you better come see me. It sounds a little harsh, right? So again, question number one is, what would you say? Question number two is that not the workplace? Do we not seek strangers for opportunity? Do we not go to these people who don't know us from a can of paint, who want us to silence our religious beliefs and dress a certain way and wear our hair a certain way, dictate our entire lives, our entire livelihood? Is that not the same as the workplace? Does this man not hold the power to decide if you're going to get toiletry items this week? Because we're solely dependent on these individuals, to take care of us and give us a fruitful life. We've become solely reliant on strangers to, provide us with the most minuscule items like toilet tissue to wipe our behinds, toothpaste, simple things, a pair of socks, meat, rice, drinks, everything you can imagine that's in your home. We have become solely dependent on strangers to provide these things. Not only is this a logic question, but this is an independent question, because this is one of the biggest things I preach. And again, you all know I've made videos on this one before. This is definitely a topic I can talk for days. We have to stop being so reliant on strangers and outside powers to take care of us. It is okay to be independent. It is okay to work for somebody with ownership in mind, with equity in mind, with building foundations for our children in mind. It is not okay to continuously push our children out into this jungle, and have them beg for opportunity. You can say it's not begging, but if I told you right now, man, you better go put some nice clothes on, you better cut your hair, you better trim your nails, clean your ears, cover up your tattoos, be 15 minutes early, and you better have every piece of paperwork I tell you to have, or you can't talk to me, Derrick Grace, what you would tell me to go straight to hell. But that workplace has the power to do that. That workplace has the power to dictate your whole 365 with a piece of paper called $1. Like I said, that's a topic I can go on forever, and I'm actually extending it right now. But again, y'all, just logic. The workplace is no different. We have to stop being solely independent and relying on these people to take care of us. And when I say the most minuscule things, I mean like your fingernail clippers, your rubber bands for your wild hair. We are relying on strangers to provide these things, and the day they feel like they don't have to do it anymore, that's just it. Then we have to run out and go try to find another man to be solely relying on. I'm real passionate about that one because I've been there. I've been making $32,000 a year and had that snatched away from me, and felt how it feels, just to have a man dangle your livelihood in front of you when you got 2 babies at home, cars at home, a house, a ton of things going on. But again, I'm gonna move to the next one. Like I said, that's a whole video in itself. And my last point I want to make, to my people who like to pick and choose their shortcomings, I'm gonna run this one down real quick. I see people all the time, especially my religious people on social media, whether I talk to them, whether I want to run across them, whatever it may be. They like to say thank God for some things. They like to say the devil is busy for some things. Again, just a question about logic, because I simply don't believe in neither one of them. But I'm gonna give you an opinion. I'm sorry, not an opinion, an example of logic and why I don't believe in them. I've seen a ton of people lose friends that they were friends with for a ton of years ago. You know what? God took you out of my life for a reason, because you was no good for me anyway. Awesome. If that's what you subconsciously want to force yourself to believe, that God removed that friend because they weren't good for you in the first place, that's great. My next question is going to be, if somebody breaks in your house Friday night and steals all your Christmas gifts, do you choose God or do you say the devil is busy? That's my question. How do we subconsciously pick which invisible man we blame our good things and our shortcomings on? I just want you to logically step back and hear how crazy that sounds. If it's that simple, then maybe the boogeyman ruined your week. You can have you lose a long-time friend and go, you know what, they were no good for me anyway. That was God showing me the signs. But if you lose your tangible items that you spent their hard-earned money on, then you're gonna say the devil's busy. A lot of us have been guilty for it. A lot of us subconsciously choose what invisible man we put the blame on. When the good happens, it's God. When some kind of good happens and a little bit happens, that's God showing me a sign and putting me through something. And when it's all bad, we want to blame the devil. And again, it's just a question to the religious people, because I've yet to get this answer as well. How do you pick and choose what invisible man you place the shortcomings on? Where is the guidebook that said if it's a little bad, minor bad, mild bad, real bad, give it to the devil? If it's kind of good but it got a little bad in it, give it to God. Again, that's another one of the ones that I can go in on, and I'm gonna eventually post a video just strictly on logic and religion, because I feel like that's one of the most following type things that people are just forced and trained to believe certain things, and they just run with them. But again, y'all, like I was saying, those are the 6 or 7 points I wanted to point out to you. A lot of those are questions that I would love to get your feedback.